Well, hey church, I hope you and your family are doing well. I know that the days are different. Time seems like sometimes it's standing still and sometimes you can't even remember what day it is. And can you imagine the fact that we are 6 weeks into the COVID-19 pandemic? And I'm sure that by now you have heard the announcement earlier this week by Governor Kemp. And the reality is you're asking yourself this question: what does that mean for the church? We've gotten lots of feedback from you. We've gotten lots of great ideas from you. And to be honest, I know that a lot of us are already suffering screen fatigue. We're suffering on the cancellation fatigue front. And I want to say this first before we look at some specifics. I just want to tell you that the church is alive. And the church is well, and we're not coasting. In fact, we had the biggest Easter we've ever had as a church. Just this past Sunday, we had over 6,000 people on Sunday morning gathered together in one of our streaming services. And I just feel like I need to give a shout out to our children's staff and our student staff, as well as our prayer ministry staff, our missions and our adult staff, and all of the teams that are getting people together in groups, that are organizing meetings, that are care for this community, as well as just meeting needs all over this place. We get to see our worship arts staff every week that they're producing just incredible worship times together. And I'm so thankful to God that we have these abilities to be able to still meet together. But when are we going to be able to get back together in person? That's the question, right? And I know that seems to be the hot topic even at my dinner table, with my family asking me, as well as a lot of conversation that I'm asking. And I'm just going to be honest with you, as of this moment, there's not a definitive date that we can for sure with 100% certainty say that this will be the day. And that's because we're kind of filtering everything through 3 different mindsets. I mean, the first one being obviously that we're here to shepherd and care for and to make sure that this place is a safe place to gather, a safe place to be, and a safe place not to spread the virus that is seeming to be on every single newscast. The second thing we're filtering it through is that we're called to be a part of this community. We're called to reach this community, to reach this state, and to reach this nation. And the third thing we're filtering through all of our decisions is that we're here as a discipling body, that it is our role as a church to walk alongside you and grow you in your faith. And so what we're doing is we're taking all the information that's coming in from a national level and a state level, as well as a local level, and we're trying our best. Sometimes it's incredibly difficult to put all of those informations together to make decisions on when is the right times and how are we going to step back into a public gathering place. And so let me just say this: until the social distancing guidelines are relaxed, there really is no way for us as a faith family to gather how we have always gathered. We've taken a look at our building. We've tried to figure out every scenario of how we can keep 6 feet from people and how we can put families in corrals and have reservations. And until there is a next step of how we can have more people on this campus at the same time and not necessarily have to remain 6 feet from every person, there's no way for us to assemble together on Sundays how we always had. But we're going to remain in our current status. We're going to remain with you every Sunday online in your living room. We're going to preach how we've always preached. We're going to proclaim the gospel how we've always have. Our student staff, our kids ministries are going to continue on in the mode that they're in. And we're going to continue to worship Jesus. And we're going to continue to pray that God moves this virus even faster than any medical profession ever thought that it could. But let me give you some specifics that we feel like is just information as you're beginning to think what summer's going to look like for you, specifically for June. First of all, one of our biggest events of the year is obviously VBS. we want you to know that we're not giving up on what VBS could be, but we're not going to have it in June. It just wouldn't be wise to have that many people on this campus, and who knows how kids can even social distance anyway. We're going to be moving VBS to the month of July, but it's also going to look and feel a lot different than it ever has before. I can't wait till the children's ministry staff begins to share with you what this day is going to look like, or what this event is going to look like coming in July. I think you're going to love it. Secondly, I want you to hear that we're also going to be shifting some student events around. We've already heard that a student ministry international trip is going to be coming not this summer, but next summer. But also student camps are not going to look the same this year. We're going to shift some events into July that'll fill that camp need, that'll look like and feel like camp, but it's going to feel and look a lot differently. And the student staff are going to be getting with you as soon as they can to share with you how exciting and what those events are going to look like. But I also want to just leave you with something this morning, a little bit of a challenge. And as your pastor, I'm just going to ask you, we need you to pray. We just need you to pray for two things specifically. Number one, as we take steps, cautionary steps to reopen this facility, would you pray that God would be incredibly clear in sending a word and a message and a discerning spirit on all of the leaders, the pastoral staff of this place, on how that needs to happen best. But secondly, would you pray this? Would you just pray that we see God move in this? We're starting to hear rumblings of people that have never gathered with us jumping on, people that are disgruntled and maybe even taking a little bit of a back seat from church, or beginning to step back into what it looks like to live out their faith. It's amazing what happens when everything is stripped away from us, when there is no more sports and really no more live entertainment, no more travel baseball or travel soccer. It's amazing what happens to our families when we begin to get back into who God would really solidify in us we are as a family to walk together in faith. But listen, here's our commitment to you. Our commitment is we're going to continue to communicate. We're going to continue to talk to you. And we are going to wisely begin to step into an incremental process of what it looks like to meet together as a full faith family together. And what a time it's going to be when God sees fit to allow us to do that. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being part of this place. Thank you for being patient in these uncharted territories to which decisions have never been made like this. Man, we love you guys. Thanks for being a part of Burning.